didn't forget about you guys. Very cool, very cool. And let's do some more survey questions. Is it anybody's first time on a boat? Anybody? Okay, I don't know about that. All right, all right. And let's see. Is it anybody's first time in Chicago? Is it anybody's first time in Chicago? All right, I'm going to show you all the coolest stuff. And let's see, is it anybody's birthday today? Do we have any birthdays today? Happy birthday to you, way in the back. All right, cool, very cool. And let's see, do we have anybody on vacation today? Who's on vacation today? Yes, everybody but me, okay. And so we are going to learn all about this beautiful city. We're going to learn about its history. We're going to, of course, learn about its architecture. We're going to learn about the architects themselves, what inspired and influenced them, their artistic styles, their engineering feats, and more. But first, let's start with a little backstory. This whole area used to be a vast marshland for thousands of years. We have the Great Lakes to our left. That one is Lake Michigan. And the marshland here was the connection between the lakes and the land. And so this whole area was inhabited by life and by many indigenous people living here. There were many different tribes that called this their seasonal home. There were the Potawatomi, the Ho-Chunk, Menominee, the Sauk, the Fox tribes, and others that would come and go every year, always settling here when the weather was nice. And so the first permanent resident of Chicago was not indigenous. He was a French-Haitian man of African descent named Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable, or Du Sable, as we call him here in Chicago. Du Sable was a very successful fur trapper, and he got to know some of the indigenous Potawatomi people that were living here. He asked them, "What do you call this beautiful place?" And they said, "This place is called Chicago in our language." And he says, "That's beautiful, what does that mean?" And they said, "It means stinky onion." Because there was a wild smelly onion plant growing all around here, and apparently had a memorable smell. So, welcome to the big onion, everybody. All right, let's get started with some beautiful buildings. Up to your left, you'll see this super tall, wavy, blue St. Regis Chicago. This one tops out at 1,191 feet tall. That's 363 meters tall. It has 101 floors, and it was designed by Jeannie Gang of Studio Gang, a Chicago-based firm. Jeannie Gang is known for her wavy and aquatic themes. That's her style. You'll notice that each of these architects all have their own unique styles. They're all artists in the sense of the word. They all have their own unique styles. And so Jeannie Gang's beautiful wavy aquatic building is accentuated by 6 different shades of blue glass from Germany, except for a couple of floors up near the top that don't have any glass at all. That is a blow-through floor. Now the reason for that is because all of these super tall buildings sway a little bit in the wind, just a few inches back and forth. They're all designed that way. It's always better to bend than to break. But you don't want your building swaying a lot, of course. And so one way to minimize the sway is to just let some of that wind blow through, hence the blow-through floor, and many other methods used by all the other buildings around as well. The top 2 floors of this middle section sold as one condo unit for $18.5 million not long ago. And they're still working on their hotel section of the building. It's had a few delays, but it will be St. Regis Hotel. It will have 191 rooms, and I'm sure they will all be very reasonably priced. Now, speaking of pricey hotels, I'm going to show you 2 more. I've actually been lucky enough to visit both of these, to stay in both of these. This next one coming up sticks out at an angle. That is the Suites Hotel. Suites Hotel is shaped like an equilateral triangle from above. From the side, it looks like a giant Toblerone bar of chocolate. And And so, Suisse Hotel was designed by Harry Weiss. Harry Weiss was a sailor and an architect, and he was known for his nautical themes. Being a sailor, that's what he liked. Harry Weiss was obsessed also with triangles. Think the silhouette of his favorite sailboat. So whenever he could, he made triangular-shaped buildings. Now behind the Suisse Hotel, you'll see a taller building with wavy white balconies. That is the Aqua Tower. Aqua Tower was designed also by Jeannie Gang of Studio Gang. You can clearly see the wavy and the aquatic themes going on here. Each of those wavy white balconies was precisely measured and calculated using GPS to maximize shade for its residents in the summer. This helps to prevent them from throwing shade. Oh, hey, is that Uncle Olga? Hey. Right. Lovely having this little bubbles in the summertime. And so now over to your right, you will see a big beautiful oven dome on top of the Intercontinental Hotel on Michigan Avenue. Next to that dome is a blimp loading platform. That structure was added in the 20s when they built this. They thought in the 20s that blimps were going to be all the new range of transportation of the future, but oh, the humanity. And then the Hindenburg tragedy occurred, and that scared everyone from riding in blimps. So no one ever actually docked their blimp up there. Intercontinental Hotel is on Michigan Avenue. It has lion decorations in the front and the Michael Jordan Steakhouse downstairs. Continuing up on the right, you'll see a white clock tower. That is the Wrigley Building. Now you've probably heard of Wrigley Chewing Gum, and or Wrigley Field. It was the same William Wrigley Jr. involved in all three. The Wrigley Building was built in 1921 and 1924 in two sections around what used to be a set of railroad tracks running through the middle there. Imagine how loud it would have been to have an office space facing inward right there. And they added that bridge much later when the people that worked there got tired of going all the way down and all the way back up just to go next door. The clock up there, the face of that clock is about 2 stories tall, and its minute hand is about the same length as these benches that we're all sitting on right now. The tower portion of Wrigley Building was inspired by a Spanish cathedral called La Giralda, which is in Seville, Spain. It's about 1,000 years old. This one's only about 100 years old. Now, in the beginning of Chicago's history, Chicago architects didn't really have their own styles just yet. They were copying European styles because that's what was popular at the time. So they call this the Spanish revival of style. Wrigley is covered in thousands of glazed terracotta tiles, which are all very delicate and do need to be hand washed every now and then. But they're also fireproof, and that's a bit of a thing here in Chicago. And so continuing straight up ahead, you're going to see our second tallest building in the city, the Trump International Hotel and Tower, designed by Adrian Smith and built in 2009. This style is called contextualism because it matches and flatters its context, its neighbors, often with mirrored glass windows, which you can clearly see here. Its setbacks or terraces all match the heights of neighboring buildings. The first one matches the Wrigley, the second one matches the tall, thin white tower across the river, and the third setback matches the height of its next door neighbor, that black box building called the AMA Medical Center. You see some of its lower floors have a wavy floor plan like the waves of the river. Adrian Smith, who designed this, also designed the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest building in the world. Up ahead to your left, you'll see the Jewelers Building with the cupola on top, shaped almost like a big rocket ship. This Jewelers Building had a scene up there in Transformers 3. All the Transformers were hanging out up there talking about their plan. Jewelers Building was designed with a car elevator so that they could drive straight in and get lifted straight up and not get bumped by the mafia on the way in. Keeping it safe for all the jewelers back then in the 20s. Now up to your right are everybody's favorite giant twin corncob towers called Marina City. Marina City was designed by Bertram Goldberg in the 60s. His idea was to bring people to come live downtown, because back in his day, nobody lived in downtown Chicago. There was nothing fun to do or see here back then. So Boulder made a huge effort to get people to move into this complex, which boasted its own laundromat, grocery stores, retail shops, bowling alley, cinema, restaurants, and even its very own marina downstairs for its residents' boats. You'll see also 18 floors of parking spaces, which are valet only. Now you might be looking at those wide open parking spaces and wondering to yourself, has anybody ever driven a car into the river from up there? And the answer is yes, they have, because this is America. Twice. Once for a movie, The Hunter with Steve McQueen, and the other time for a car insurance commercial. Quite the policy, that one. Now, I want everybody to take a look over to your left, to your right, under the bridge here. You see some heavy machinery. They are removing and replacing pieces of this bridge to fix it. See, don't worry, this part of the bridge is closed. They're slowly making their way all the way across. Up to your left, you'll see a beautiful Greek temple on top of a shiny glass tower. That is 77 West Wacker. A nice example of the neoclassical style. Neoclassical is a fusion of the new and the old together in perfect harmony. Modern mirrored glass windows are framed by Portuguese royal white granite, almost making it look transparent. It's a beautiful effect. This one, 77, was designed by a Spanish architect named Ricardo Bofill from Barcelona and built in 1992.